Introducing Oakley Meta Vanguard, the new performance AI glasses designed for athletes. With hands-free capture on an action-ready ultra-wide camera, powerful open-ear speakers, and built-in Meta AI that syncs with your Garmin devices for real-time insights while you train. Take your performance to the next level with Oakley Meta Vanguard. Athletic intelligence is here. Learn more on meta.com.
This episode is presented by State Farm. Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like expecting the leadership of a team captain on the football field, but getting a sea captain. You wouldn't settle for just anything for your team. Shouldn't it be the same for your insurance? So don't settle for just any insurance when you can go with a leader. State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Tonight, turn down the noise of the day and focus on the rest with AGZ, the nightly drink for winding down and resting up. New from AG1. AGZ supports your body's natural sleep cycle with clinically studied key herbs, adaptogens, and minerals in amounts supported by research. And no melatonin, helping you wake feeling rested. Wind down, rest up with AGZ. Learn more at drinkagz.com.
Like for me, like I said, I was lost. I was now I'm in the depression part of it, with not even knowing I'm depressed.
Make gifting easy with Benson and Clegg. Handcrafted cufflinks, luxury accessories, and a proper British style. Trusted since the 1930s by royalty. Get 15% off with code KARATE15, exclusively for Anxious Black Belt podcast listeners. Shop now at bensonandclegg.com. So, welcome to another episode of Anxious Black Belt podcast, focusing on karate, mental health, and everything in between. And today is the everything in between. My guest is William, a bobsled competitor in United States, and we're gonna be talking about his case and his health through the bobsled training. How are you, William?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I can't complain. I'm very good, thank you. And I have to say
Nice.
that when you guys reach out to me about the brain injury or traumatic brain injury and bobsleigh, I never realized how dangerous that stuff is. I knew it have to be a very brave, borderline crazy person to go so fast down the hill on ice. But there's so many different dangers in it that generally public is not aware. But I would like to start with your journey. How did you get involved in a bobsled? Because it's not a very super popular sport.
Well, actually, when I was racing, our Monday night, our live, like we race live on TV, like Eurosport. Our TV audience was bigger than Monday Night Football when I was racing. I don't know what it is now. So it's pretty popular through Europe. It's just not very popular like in America. Yeah.
So what attract you to go into the bobsled instead of basketball, football, or any other sport?
Well, I was a track and field athlete. That's how I went to college. I was a long jumper, sprinter, and after my track career was starting to get to the end, bobsledding showed up, and it was a little bit different. Like I did a tryout with them on a Wednesday. I pushed sled for the first time on a Sunday, and I raced an America's Cup race on that Friday and won a medal. So like it went within 1 week. I won my first international medal, and it was just like wow, and it was different. For track and field, you're always so vain about the body. You can only eat a certain amount of food. You're always on a diet. Bobsled, like you can just eat and train and work out. And it's like, whoa, what is this? It's like, it's almost like you feel like you're being undisciplined, but you're not. Cause you like when I was a track athlete, I was about, I think it would be 84 kilos, like 180 pounds. As a bobsled, I was around 100 kilos. So there's you're carrying a different body type. So,
I
but yeah,
suppose
it's
I
yeah.
suppose the body weight helps with going down faster, right?
Yeah, so there's a maximum weight on that sled with all the athletes
Uh,
in a sled together. And so if most of the weight is on the athletes, that means my sled is going to be very light and I can push it faster. So
mhm.
that's the philosophy behind bigger athletes. Yeah.
Okay. And did you had like a special training, or it just was like, hey, you can run with this and just go? And how was your experience going so fast down the narrow? Are you able to actually see anything, or you just hide and pray for the best?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I started hiding and praying after I had my first crash. Before that,
Mhm.
you're just not really thinking about the crashing too much. But let me see, what was the first question you asked me? I missed the first question.
Do you have a special training, or they just go,
Oh, yeah.
you've been running for whole your life, just run with it?
Yeah, that's I was a runner. So I did exactly what I did that made me a good track athlete. I just kept doing the same workouts. I had to add more weightlifting, heavier mass to get that extra weight on my body. But other than that, it was the same thing. Just focus on running.
Mm.
Yeah.
It might be a silly question, but I never tried bobsledding. I've seen it on TV, but how do you steer these things? Is it just going because there's a turns on the ice, or do you have like a strings or something to pull it?
Yeah, it's actually the strings.
Mhm.
They have these things, they call them like bungee cords. And there's a guy in the front, it's my driver. So he's I guess when you pull them this way, it makes the runners,
Mhm.
that's the only control they really have is doing this. And so if we ever crash, it's always the driver's fault. It's not I have, but I wasn't the driver. I'm usually the guy in the back. So
Mhm.
yeah, but it's always that driver's fault. Like nothing I can do is going to make us crash.
Mhm. Is there like a window in the middle of the car? Is the cart how you call the vehicle of going
Oh, the
down
sled, yeah, sled, yeah,
sled?
yeah.
Yeah. Does
No,
it
no
never?
window.
How he
No,
know how to steer?
he's peeking over the top. He's looking. It's like
All right.
his helmet stops about here, so he can only
Mhm.
see like. And like sometimes you can see some of the drivers. All of a sudden, you start seeing them like if the thing is here, you start seeing them get down like this.
Mhm.
That means he knows he's about to crash. That's what that really means. And it took me a long time to figure that out because I'll see my driver. Sometimes I'll feel him doing something that's not normal. Next thing I know, they say 81, and they start screaming 81, 81, which means that there's a crash on the track. So be careful, get out of the way. But yeah, that's when if he does something wrong, like, yeah, we're going over. It's just the nature of the sport. But it's all being controlled by two little strings, like two little ropes. Yeah. How did you know
Madness.
that? Like, how did you guess that?
Well, I think that's the easiest way to, save light, having a light cart, have a light bobsled, and have some control, right? I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe I've seen a cartoon somewhere or something, but that's what came to my mind. When
Yeah,
you've been going, when you've been going that first time down the track, what was the feeling? Because those things going super, super fast. Was it like exciting? What was your experience of getting in that?
well, my first time down that track, it was scary as hell. Like
Mhm.
it's really scary. It's and you thinking like it probably took about 50 seconds to be finished from start to finish, but it felt like 5 minutes because like it's like I'm thinking, is this thing ever gonna be over? And the truth is, like when we race, we don't see anything because we're down below the sled so that all the wind and aerodynamics go over us. So I never get to see anything of the race. I can kind of feel where I'm at. Like I know we have straightaways and there's turns, so you kind of get the feeling of kind of know where you are. But it's only from experience being there a couple of times. Every track's a little bit different too. So like you like if just because you're on one track don't mean that you're going to be good on the next track. Yeah.
And what speeds that they going quite over 100 miles an hour, or am I making it up?
About 95. I think 95 is the fastest right now. I'm not sure, but right around there. I know 95 for sure. I'm
And
not
you
sure if
putting
anybody's broken 100 yet.
uh, and you putting your faith in the driver with two strings, and you're not seeing where you're going.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds
Okay.
foolish now, doesn't it?
Sure, that's the definition of a brave man,
I
sitting
don't
in there and
know.
going through.
Yeah, yeah. It's, the truth is, like the first time I tried it, it was so. I don't like roller coasters either. Like I stayed off of roller coasters my whole life because I feared them.
Mhm.
This thing is a roller coaster times 100. Like most people tell you, like if they did a roller coaster ride, they were like going, it was fun. It was like going wee.
Mm.
But when you do a bobsled, everybody says the same thing. It felt like they were kind of fighting for their life because you're pulling G forces that you've never felt before. The only place that can get them is the bobsled ride like that, or the F-15 fighter pilots who do the fighter jets.
But
So
you don't have a suit, and they've got the suits to keep them kind of awake.
absolutely, yeah.
So,
And some people do black out in those sleds. I've seen people faint. We get to the
oh,
end and they're sleeping. Yeah.
that was my question. How do you prepare yourself for that much of a stress on your body? Is it just a natural ability, or just hope for the best?
Well, considering what I know now, no one was ever prepared for the G forces because an article just came out. Well, it came out about 2021. Somebody went to the track and they tested it. And instead of us pulling 5Gs, we're actually pulling there's spikes of 84.5 Gs. So
Wow.
it's yeah, and fighter pilots, they do maybe 12 to 15, I think. But they have the pressure suits. And matter of fact, there was a time when I was racing, we took some of the pilots down the track. And when we got out the sled, they were just kind of shook up and rattled. And I didn't understand that for a long time. But an article just came out in December that they have the exact same symptoms as the bobsledders and the NFL players, which is probably CTE.
Mhm.
Yeah, because one of my teammates who committed suicide, when they checked him, he was definitely in stage 4 of CTE. So now we know what this thing is. It's killing a lot of people. Our military, it's killing our athletes. It's brutal. It's brutal stuff.
So how did you notice your symptoms? How can you take us through the kind of timeline of you
Yeah.
enjoying the bobsled and then starting to noticing, hey, there's something not right?
Well, the first symptoms that were there, I missed them. Like the first symptom was I would wake up in the middle of the night and I didn't know where I was at.
Mhm.
And so I'll jump up and turn the lights on and look around. And over in Europe, you guys have weird pictures on the wall. You have different pictures than America. So I'll be like, oh, okay, I'm in Europe. I look around. But the pictures always told me, calm me down because I knew where I was at. But the truth was, I rationalized it. I was like, you know what? I travel so much, I have such a great life. That's why I don't know where I'm at. And then another thing happened. I hadn't seen some of my buddies in a while. So we went to hang out. And my buddy, he's looking at this girl. He's like, hey, that's your girlfriend over there, your ex-girlfriend. And I looked at her and I was like, it's a pretty girl, but I don't know her. And then she ran over and she jumped in my arms.
Mhm.
And I caught her. And then when we're hugging, and I'm thinking, okay, I guess I do know her. But I couldn't remember her. And so once again, I rationalized it. I'm thinking, okay, well, you know what? Just I'm an athlete. I'm so strong and beautiful. All the women just love me. You just rationalize stupid stuff. It didn't make sense. But you don't, at no point in time did I know that I was in trouble. It wasn't until I started getting really cloudy, um, getting lost in my own neighborhood, things like that. Um, for forgetting everything. My memory was just awful. And so I began putting these whiteboards on my walls and I would be writing on them everywhere, just trying to keep up with life. Yeah. And so, yeah, so those were the first symptoms.
That must have been scary, especially that not knowing what's going on, why it's happening. I assume that you haven't connected it to bobsled and being shook all the time. It was
Yeah.
just like it must have been very scary.
Yeah. I thought it was diabetes because I had days where I had to keep a thermos full of coffee, or I would get some type of caffeine, and I put it on my nightstand. So when I go to sleep in the morning, I'm gonna go to sleep at night. When I wake up in the morning, I have something to kind of get me out of that bed. So I began to live off of caffeine. And when I was an athlete, I never drank caffeine. I didn't drink coffee or soda. I just don't like the taste. But I began to live off of it. So without that, I couldn't get out of bed before like 3 o'clock the next day. Yeah. And then
And
also
you,
when I woke, oh, go ahead.
yeah, go.
Yeah. So one other thing is that every day when I woke up, I always know I didn't know what the day was. Like I always thought it was, you know, I never knew the date. So I had a little book. So every morning when I wake up, I look at the book. It'll tell me if it's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So I had already forgotten the days, and then I had to figure out what month we in. My brain was kind of stuck in a loop, so I always thought it was January or it was or August. So it's the same 2 months all the time. But the good thing is, when I woke up, I already knew that I didn't know the day, and I already know I didn't know the month. So I knew to check every day. So I started putting things in place for myself to, keep me from, because I was getting in trouble. I was missing work, missing doctor's appointments, missing just even going on a date with somebody. I was missing those things, and people were getting mad at me, and I couldn't figure out why. Like you made the mistake, not me. But my brain wasn't working properly anymore. Yeah.
Is that kind of worsened over time? So where did you go from that starting to forget stuff? How bad did it get? And when did you make a connection between the bobsled and your injuries?
Well, what was the first question? Like,
So how far? Because when I spoke with Jennifer, she was saying that the hyperbaric chamber help you to get out from the
yeah.
very severe CTE and depression and stuff like that. So how bad did it get for you to actually seek the medical help, and how long it took you? Because I imagine if that happened in UK, I don't think so anybody would point us to hyperbaric chamber. It would
Yeah.
be, tablets, and maintaining that home.
Same thing here. But actually, it's even different. Like, if you look at me, I'm still 100 kilos. So I
Mhm.
look strong, and I still look relatively young. And so you see doctors, they always check my blood. They never check
Mm.
my brain, And so that, I think that's part of the biggest problem. Like, no one was connecting. I didn't connect the dots. I thought it was diabetes.
Mhm.
And it didn't make sense because I eat clean. I always have. But I've seen people with low blood sugar, and that's what it seemed like I was dealing with. And so
Mhm.
I kept going to doctors for many years. I was waiting just to give me the insulin so I can move on with my life. And they just kept telling me, you're not diabetic. So I couldn't figure it out. I didn't know what it was. I didn't. And matter of fact, even after 4 of my teammates that I knew about committed suicide, I still didn't know. Like, I just couldn't connect the dots because you're not thinking straight. Like, sometimes I would leave my house and I'm only walking about say about half a mile. I would get lost on the way back, and it
Mm.
was just it was slowly just creeping up on you. Like I went from having just a random day of being cloudy to eventually it switched over to like I had a random day of clarity. So every day I'm cloudy, and only thing I can do is pump caffeine and caffeine and caffeine to try to get through the day and survive this thing. Yeah.
Have you been still at that point actively training bobsled, or you retired from that?
Yeah, I retired in 2007. Yeah. No,
Was
I would never get back in the sled again. Never. Yeah.
was that because of that cloudiness and your health, or did you just expire your kind of career?
It was just time. I won my last U.S. title that year. It was 2007. I think I was 36 years old. So it was time for me to do something different. Before I started the sport, I was working in mental health. I owned a treatment facility for kids, and I wanted to kind of get back to some of that type of work.
Mhm.
And then also I was doing, You ever see a movie called Jerry Maguire or Any
Yeah,
Given Sunday? Like I was
yeah.
doing the football stuff for those guys. Like they would,
Hmm.
I was really fast guy, so they put these uniforms on me and just had me running on the field to make Cuba Gooding Jr. look like a really good football player. He wasn't an athlete, so yeah. So I was doing a lot of different things during that time period. But I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So you had to stop that because of your health, right? So how did you get?
Well, I didn't really stop it for the health. It was just time. I'm 36. I didn't really want to be there much longer. It was time to go.
It
So,
was the bobsled in States well paid, or did you have to have another job to meet the ends meet?
well, some people were paid and some people were not paid. Um, and so, yeah, yeah. So usually you have to work, or and like I said, when I first started the sport, I owned a company, so I
Hmm.
didn't really, I didn't need money from the bobsled team, so I had my own money.
Hmm.
But once I went full time with them, then I depended on them, and then they kind of choose who they want to give money to. That's kind of how it works.
Hmm.
Like you can be number one in the country, be the best athlete, but that doesn't mean that they're gonna take care of you. It's a matter of fact, they got in trouble over the last few years. They got audited by a external company, went in to audit them, and all the things I complained about when I was racing, they finally got in trouble for. It took 20 years, but yeah.
I think
So
I
some
think the
people
la
can make money, but yeah,
Yeah, I think the last couple of years the CTE and concussion is eventually getting noticed. I think my background is martial arts, so it was kind of always known that getting repeated hits in the face and the head, getting head wobble have always an impact, right? It's accumulating
yeah,
and it's getting worse, and you see that the boxers being hit too many times. There's
yeah,
always like you're talking to somebody who is not there. That is that
yeah,
that fog like you've been
yeah,
describing.
yeah,
Yeah, but in other sports, it feels like it was either neglected or covered up to not be included, right? It's like American football, it had to be a
yeah,
documentary about concussion, so people take it
yeah,
seriously. And like I said, for myself, I never thought that bobsled, except being a dangerous for crashes, might have an impact like that. But because of thanks to you, I started reading about it yesterday, and it makes sense because you all the time are kind of under the shaking because the ice is not flat; it bounces you all the
yes,
time, and
yeah,
you've got nearly the shaken baby syndrome
yeah,
all the time, right?
yeah.
So do you think that now the people will be more informed about the dangers going into the sport because you haven't been informed? And I think that's what you are striving for and trying to educate people about those risks. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, what I did is I filed a class action lawsuit
Oh,
for two
okay.
reasons. The number one reason that I told the judge is non-negotiable for me is they have to warn a new generation before they start the sport. See, they didn't warn us, and
Mhm.
even when we start to get sick, right now we're in court and there's an offer on the table for us. The offer is only to evaluate us. They won't treat us and they won't give us money to find our own treatment. And so like, it's just unacceptable, and like, I don't think our young people need to go through that. Like, especially if we know what's happening to the people. And so I told the judge, that's like, Your Honor, like they know what's happening. They're covering it up. They still won't warn these people, even though we're here in court. And that's my demand. I was like, if people are dying behind this, is that not murder? And
Mhm.
that's how I look at it because they know what's happening and they just rather cover it up and keep making money.
Because there's a big percentage of bobsled, as you mentioned, four of your friends committed suicide. There's a huge percentage of athletes taking their own life. I'm
Yeah.
guessing due to that cloudiness, being kind of confused of that CTE, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Well, what happens for me when I was at my worst, like I didn't know, I was stuck in this loop. It was like a loop. Every day was like this weird same day over and over. First of all, wake up, drink the caffeine, figure out the day, figure out the month, figure out if I have anything to do today. Look at the walls. You know, it was just this monotony. And then like you get to the point where, like for me, like I said, I was lost. I was now I'm in the depression part of it, with not even knowing I'm depressed. So like some of us don't even get to recognize what this is until it's too late. And so what that loop tells you, like for me, it was telling me it's time to end your life. This is it. This, you know, suicide. This is your only option. You can't live another day like this. But because I was a counselor before that, like all the things I taught hundreds of people was telling me, like, I don't want to leave that trauma here for my family. It's only going to hurt my family. I said, I'm going to have to stick this one out. And so I made a deal with God. We'll pray. I was like, God, like, I can't end my life, but you can take me. You know, so every day I was praying for death. Like, please just let me, I can't do another day like this. I don't know what this is. I don't know why I'm, you know, dealing with this. What, you know, and the matter of fact, the more help I tried to seek, like doctors in America, they'll check your blood, but they're not really looking to check your brain for stuff. And so they always check my blood, but they never ever check that brain. And it just let me, you know, stay down there and wither. You know, and yeah, that's why this thing is so dangerous, because now our military has the same thing. Now they've been trained to kill. Matter of fact, there was a gentleman, it was about a month and a half ago. He went to the NFL office and tried to shoot everybody. He wanted to kill the NFL people. Mm-hmm. He left the suicide note. He said he had CTE, and they checked him, and it came back last week that he was right. He had CTE. So my phone started going crazy because I have a social media page on TikTok. It's called One Man with a Chamber. And I just help people with CTE symptoms, help them, you know, live with the symptoms, try to help them minimize the symptoms. And so my phone was going crazy. And so I've made a video and I put it out. And in that video, I said, guys, I know we're watching athletes take their life, and I know they have murdered some of their loved ones. I said, but that's not the population we need to be concerned about. We have to treat our military because they have the same thing. So I said that was the very next day after I made the video, I had court. I spoke to the judge about it. After that, I did a speech like on the courthouse steps, not a big speech, there was a few people there. I mentioned the same thing. So the following week, one of our veterans went to a bar in Montana and he shot, like, I think he killed 4 people. And then he went off in the woods and was hiding. And they finally found him about a week later. And then the next week, he went to, somebody went on one of the military bases and he shot up a few people on the military base. And then last Sunday, another veteran went to a Mormon church in Minnesota. It was in Minnesota. He burned up one half of the building and he went to the other side and started shooting. So even after they stopped him, there was like, I don't know how many bodies missing. There's at least 5 people unaccounted for. So he probably burned them up in the other part of the building. But this thing is like, it's like something we have to treat. And if you listen to the family members, they all said the same thing. Like this military veteran, he went to go get help and he was denied help. He was denied mental health, you know. And so my thing is, I just want to get ahead of this thing, because in America, man, we can go to elementary school and get shot. You can go to the movies and get shot. You can go to church and get shot. You can go to a concert and worry about getting shot. It's just, you know, people think like it's this golden place over here, and it's not. You know, it's very dangerous.
Mm-hmm. So how did you found the hyperbaric chamber, and in what way it helped you?
Well, there's do you know Joe Namath? Have you heard of him?
No.
He's like a really famous quarterback from the NFL from like the 60s and 70s. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, he used to wear like he would be wearing fur coats on the sideline, like before when it wasn't cool to do that. He was doing that already, you know. He was started making movies and stuff. So it was really, you know, so he put out some videos. And in his videos, he said he reversed his CTE symptoms by using a hyperbaric chamber. And I was thinking, there's nothing. I've done all the research. I've spoken to doctors. Like, I'm in court right now asking for help. I got all these lawyers who's been around this stuff. Nobody's giving me any advice on how to fix this stuff or help. So I didn't think it was going to work. But I went there. And the people let me do the chamber for free the first time. And I'm in that thing for 1 hour. And when I came out, it's like, I could see colors. Everything was so pretty and beautiful. It's like the world was in. It's like I was walking around in 3D. And so my glasses are slightly tinted because I'm sensitive to lights and sounds and smells now. So I went to grab my glasses and put them on, and I realized I didn't need them. So I took them off, and I was just, this is weird. Like, I don't need glasses. Like, I put them back on a couple of times, and then the salesman came over, and he was like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "I don't think I need my glasses right now." Mm-hmm. And he's like, "Oh, you're one of those." And I'm thinking, okay, he's just a salesman. He was about to try to sell me this $20,000 machine. I just bought a house, so I didn't have extra $20,000 laying around. And but he was right. Some people get immediate relief, and some people need about, I think they said 40 to 50 sessions within 30 days. But I was clear. All my cloudiness was gone for 6 days, and I just didn't understand it. I realized I hadn't seen the beauty in anything in a long time. And so they let me come back the next week. So toward the end of that week, and then I was clear for 9 days. And then I bought one. So I have one in my back room back here. So yeah, and I just keep it up for my maintenance. Whenever I start feeling a little bit weird again, I try to still do at least 3 times per week. Mm-hmm. But if I go like 30 days, I start feeling a little bit weird again. If I go too long without it. But so many people don't get the permanent relief. I'm not one of them. But yeah.
So how I'm guessing you studied it extensively. In what mechanism is in play to help the brain?
Oh, from the chamber?
Yeah.
Okay, so what it does, it makes your body think it's like 7 to 9 feet underwater, depending on which chamber you have. There's some that'll make you think you're further down below. So what happens is your blood turns into like a gas. Mm-hmm. And since it's a gas, it can get through all the blockages and it can go everywhere. So now it's oxygenating every cell in your body. Like, there's a lot of people, like if you have cancer now, a lot of doctors will send you through this because cancer doesn't like oxygen. Mm-hmm. So if you have cancer now, some doctors will put you through that before you start chemo, maybe while you're on chemo, depending on what meds you're taking. And then when you finish chemo, it's killing the cancer now. So, but yeah, that's what it does. It makes your body think it's underwater. So like, it gets through all the blockages. The next thing you know, man, like for me, it was 1 hour. Like, I suffered for 20 years. My first concussion was in 2002. Matter of fact, in St. Moritz, Switzerland. And then I found that machine toward the end of 2022. Mm-hmm. So that was 20 years with no treatment for concussions.
Wow.
And and I believe that's why, for me, like, it's not permanent relief. Like, I have to do the maintenance to keep it up, because I went 20 years before I found help. And that's why I think now it's important that we get this help to the younger people quicker. Because the studies show there's so many people who they're using it and they get the permanent. They don't need it anymore. So maybe one day I'll get there. I don't know though.
Mm-hmm. So is it helping any specific CTE or all kinds of? Is there any studies showing that it's helping footballers, boxers, veterans, and bobsled people, or is it just specific to?
Well, no, there's a lot of studies out there. And the truth is, if you're not looking for them, you won't find them. They're not going to just pop out. And our medical stuff in America is very complicated. Like, the insurance they won't pay for hyperbaric treatment unless there's 14 things it'll pay for, and mental health is not one of them. And so, yeah, I'm sorry, I missed your question again, brother.
Yeah, if my question was if that's treating is beneficial to wide spectrum of CTEs or one specific, you think?
Oh no, yeah, no, I believe that it's definitely for CTE. They also, if you follow the study, do you know who Jamie Foxx is?
Yeah.
Okay, I used to do some things for him. Like, he had a song called "Blame It on the Alcohol" years ago. I did product placement for him. Patron were friends of mine. I put Patron in Nouveau for the music video. So when he got sick about 2 years ago, it was rumored that he had a stroke. Now, I wasn't sure. So I called his camp and I told them, I was like, guys, if he had a stroke, I said, first of all, I told him, don't tell me what's wrong with him, because I don't want to be responsible for being the leak. I said, but if he had a stroke, I said, have them put him in a hyperbaric chamber, because the studies show if you say you had a really bad stroke and you're in a wheelchair and you go through the treatment, then you'll probably be walking with a cane that works, but more than likely you'll be fine. And that's what the study shows, because of what it does. It allows that blood to get through the blockages. Strokes usually happen because there's a blockage to the brain. So the blood now flushes and gets up there, and it wakes everything up. So it's helping with that. It's helping with cancer. It helps with a lot of stuff. Like, this stuff's been around since the 1800s, I believe, or early 1900s. So it's not like new technology. But in America, if they can't give you a pill, they don't really, they really give you a pill and keep selling it to you every month. This is just oxygen. Yeah, it's oxygen. Yeah.
Well, you cannot charge a lot for that on you, so it's not viable money making scheme for the
absolutely
for the companies. So what is your goal and what is your plan? Jennifer kind of outlined it for me, but it would be nice to hear from you. What is your dream? What you're striving for? And I'm sure you're gonna achieve it, but what it is?
Well, what I want to do is I just want to offer the same treatment that helped me. I want to offer the same treatment to everybody else. It's really just that simple. Like, there's no reason that people are still committing suicide and dying behind this thing. If there's something out here for us, and if it's here, why? I don't understand why people aren't talking about it. Like Joe Namath, for a long time, I couldn't say his name without getting choked up, because I was dying, man. I was on the floor every night praying for death. I was like, God, just please come get me. I can't live like this anymore. Like, and so for it to give me life back, like literally right now, my last 3 court sessions, my law team turned their back on us, right? They're now with the Olympic team. They're working together to put this offer through that won't help anybody. So my last 3 court hearings, I actually represent all the Winter Olympic athletes in court now. It's me versus my lawyers and their lawyers. 2.5 years ago, I could barely talk. Like, we couldn't have a conversation. Matter of fact, there was a gentleman, Chapman Downs from HBO Real Sports. You guys have HBO over there, right? HBO? Yeah. But yeah, it's a show called HBO Real Sports. They interviewed me, and I had a meltdown on that interview. This before I found the chamber and stuff. And I was just doing so bad, and it was so embarrassing for me, just highly embarrassing. And that's why I stopped interviewing. I didn't want to talk to anybody anymore. I started to isolate. But I'm just saying, this thing it works miracles. And I just want to, provide the same thing, that helped me. That's it. It's no more to it. But the thing is, I realize it has to be for free, because it's too expensive for most people to afford. So here in LA, if you want to go to a place that offers the treatment, it's going to cost you $200 per hour. So if you need 60 of those in a month, like, not everybody can afford that. So I'm just really trying to get ahead of some of this stuff. And I promise you, it'll cut back on some of the, like the violence we have in America. They say 60% of people in prison now had untreated brain injuries. But I bet it's a lot higher than that, because they don't treat brain injuries here. Like, I went down the bobsled track for our Olympic team for hundreds of times. They've never given me any treatment, or any of my teammates. It's not just me, but we never got any treatment. Like, my first crash was so bad. My brakeman was unconscious and I had vertigo. And so they sent us back to the hotel and they told us to watch each other so we don't fall asleep. And the thing is, back then it made sense, but now it's like, how could I watch him? I couldn't even sit up in the bed without puking, because the room starts to spin, and he was already unconscious. And matter of fact, as I was thinking about it, he was probably sleeping right now, but there was no treatment. And as a martial artist, I'm pretty sure you know about injuries.
Yeah.
You get an injury, there's a treatment plan. There's things that you do for every injury you get, except for concussions. And I think that's why, things are just getting out of control here now, because they just let it fester until next thing people are doing things out of their character. Now they're in trouble or they're harming themselves. It's the same thing over and over. And I'm just thinking, like, guys, wake up. We have to wake up.
You would think that the Olympic team would have the best care possible, right? There's finances for that. They are funded. They've got lots of money. You
Yeah,
would think that the athletes will be priority, but that seems to be not true.
it's not true at all. Yeah, I can't even get them to warn the athletes, and
Mm,
it's just like I'm just like, okay, guys, like I could stop talking about this any day if you do the right thing,
mm,
but until you do the right thing, like it's me and it's other people. We're gonna make sure that the other athletes get safe. We have to
mm,
do that. It's people's children, man. It's like, and I kind of, and like whenever I think about how far down I was, how bad it was, and I still see my other teammates out there who don't have the hyperbaric chamber and things like that. Most people don't have no idea these are things are out here to help us. Like I don't
mm,
know how they're living. Like I don't know how they're making it. Like yeah, it's just, and that's what burns me up and fuels my fire and keeps me going to help everybody. Because like I just don't. I remember where I was at, and I don't know how they're surviving like this.
mm.
Yeah,
Can you share where people can find your content? I know you're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all those stuff, and you've got the GoFundMe page where people
yeah,
can donate towards the center you try to open. Can you share all the
yeah,
links and stuff? Take us through it.
yeah. Most of my social media, everything is under one man with a chamber, one man with a chamber,
Hmm.
and I always say that because when Joe Namath got help, he had a team of doctors, and they put him through the hyperbaric. When I did, it was just me. So I'm a
Hmm.
one man with a chamber, so you can always find me there. And my name is William, last name Person. Like everybody's a person,
Hmm.
Person. You can find me, just Google, and all my social media will pop up. But my TikTok channel is really just geared for helping people learn to live with this thing and showing them different tricks of how not to step in all the potholes that I stepped in. Like I've made so many mistakes over the years because I didn't know what this was. And even after my fourth teammate killed himself, I still didn't understand it.
Hmm.
I still didn't know I was dealing with it. Even when there was an article that came out called Sledhead, I read it. It was talking about all my teammates who had all the symptoms and the things they did before they killed themselves. Even though I checked all the same boxes, but I still didn't connect the dots. Like it's hard to see it in yourself. You can see it in other people, but for some reason, the athletes, none of us can see it in ourselves. So your loved ones they're the ones who are going to help you through this. And without the loved ones around, it's very hard to survive this thing.
Well,
Yeah, very difficult.
I'm really glad that you found the uh, rest from it and recover it to some degree. As you said, 20 years of living with CTE might have a non-reversible impact. But I'm glad that you can go around, spread the message, help other people, and
Yeah,
I'm hoping that your GoFundMe page is going to be successful. And and thank you for reaching out and
yeah,
allowing me to kind of spread your message, because if there is a help for people from bobsled and football, I'm sure that will be beneficial for people with martial arts as well, like myself. Although
absolutely.
we are kind of aware of it, and we stopped all the heavy contact and even light contact to the head. We do it very, very rarely to avoid as much as possible to get those repetitive concussions and stuff. So thank you very much for your time, and I
Yeah,
wish you all the best.
yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Well done for listening to all of it. You are a superhero. Thank you very much for your support. And if you could leave us that review on a podcast platform, that would be amazing. I appreciate your time, appreciate your support, and I wish you all the best until the next one.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Hey, it's Lisa Leslie. How did I get here? I prepared for every game and for the years after.
Invest in your future with SPY, the original S&P 500 ETF from State Street, the official ETF partner of the WNBA. Before investing, consider the fund's investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses. Visit statestreet.com/IM for prospectus containing this and other information. Read it carefully. SPY is subject to risks similar to those of stocks. All ETFs are subject to risk, including possible loss of principal. ALPS Distributors, Inc. Distributor.